What should I talk about? Discs. Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Staff Bikes. This is my most loved bike. It's my Kinesis 4 Seasons disc. I say it's my most loved bike whenever I take it anywhere, be that town on a little shopping trip or to the cafe. Non-cyclists will come up to me way more than any super bike or 10 grand test bike, and they'll say, "Oh, that's a nice bike. That must have cost a lot of money." I'm going, no. Most of this is parts that I've had on test or have come off an old cross bike, race bike, whatever. And this is my winter bike. They were only doing it in hot pink, so I couldn't have the sensible blue. Kinesis, if I'm honest, it's not the best paint job. Some of it is a bit more pink than other bits. Some of it looks a bit orange, but I'm not here to pick faults in it. I love it. It kind of has to be ready for a bit of everything. Hence the reason that you will instantly see something going on here. There's a lot going on with the top tube. There is a battery pack front light. That is the Light & Motion Imgin 800. 800 lumens, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you get a lot more power out of an external battery and separate head torch. I don't know why. So that was in on test years ago and it's still going strong, which is why you should buy quality. Once I finished work at 5:30ish, you know, faffed about getting changed, and then got out there, you know, an hour and a half, approaching 7:30, it's dark. So I need to be able to see where I'm going at speed. Not fast speed, but some speed. So that is perfect. I will also have on my helmet that I use for proper night rides, a little twist-on helmet that sits on a Garmin mount. I didn't mean to say a twist-on helmet. It's a twist-on light that I put on my helmet via a Garmin mount. Anyway, moving towards this, this is a frame pump that I traded someone for something like 180 quid's worth of skin suit, which is a very good deal in my mind because I don't use skin suits anymore. So yeah, that has been used only a handful of times, but it always gets me back up to a proper riding pressure without me looking like I'm doing something dodgy in the, you know, in the hedgerow, which is quite nice, and it's easy on my little weedy cyclist arms. Sticking with the practical features, we'll come to the rear light. That is a Moon Comet X Pro. I've had a few of these kind of lights on this bike. After about 2 years they seem to die for some reason. They either they charge but they won't turn on, so hopefully this one will do some more life. Personally, I just have one on there and then another thing on the back of my helmet. Practical features: saddlebag. That is a Lifeline saddlebag. I don't know what one it is. I bought it off of Wiggle when I needed to spend some more money to get free delivery. And then let's stick up at this bit because I've got a very, very trusty saddle. This is the first saddle that I got on with. This is the Specialized Romin. I want to say Evo, but I don't think it is. I think that's just the standard Romin. I tried this saddle when I was about 15, 16, and yeah, that set me on the road to split saddles. I really like them. I really like the shape. And then let's move down. Let's do some of the more minor things. Bottle cages, Elite metal cages. I don't know. They're really good because you can kind of squish them in if you're going to be riding rough surfaces. Sometimes I take these on this bike on some gravel tracks and stuff. And then moving down, Power to Max NG Eco. Now, I should have been reviewing this and I've not got around to it, so I'm really sorry, but it's really good. The power data that comes from there is reliable and very, very accurate. And it will go through any kind of weather. It will just start up and go, which is quite nice. My gearing on here is not a 5339, it will be a 53, and then inside it will be a 38. I've tried to get as low on the gearing there as possible. I think I could go down to a 36, but I haven't tried yet. I might do, but with the gears at the back, this is an 11 through to 30 tooth cassette. Was it a 32? It's a 32. So with that gearing, I can get up pretty much anything around Bath, which is quite nice. This Ultegra Di2 is actually probably overkill for a winter bike. I'm fully supportive of people that say that you don't need electronic gears on a winter bike. You really don't. Yeah, that was going spare in my parts bin, as with the front mech and the shifters. In fact, the shifters, let's go and talk about them. Come up here. Because these are the first non-series Di2 hydraulic levers. These are the R785, I think. I really loved the shape. These, for me, have a special place in my heart because I got into cyclocross while Mathieu van der Poel was riding these, and he did a lot of winning, so that made them instantly brilliant in my mind. But then I actually rode them. I really liked the shape for cyclocross. But when I'm in winter gloves, which are quite big, you get really good purchase at the front, and it feels like a very, very secure lever in my mind. They're a little bit on-off in their actuation, but realistically, that's not such a bad thing. I don't really care. We've got the external Junction A box here, which I find to be the best solution that Shimano has come up with so far. It just means that you can be riding along and put the bike into adjustment mode and then adjust your gears just in case they go out. That's going to be a very minor thing. I really should push it away from the head tube because it is starting to scratch. Anyway, up front we've got a Garmin Edge 1030 Plus. You'd be absolutely fine with the 830. I wouldn't bother buying this one, but it does have the biggest screen size and it's got a very, very good touchscreen, which does actually work in wet weather. I don't know what the bar tape is. I've got a suspicion that it's a Pro bar tape because I've got some kind of Pro bar end plug here. I don't really like this stuff. I do need to change it out, probably for some Prime Comfort tape or something like that. On the other side, there is a Canyon end bell, which just amuses me every time. I'm going to replace that. I got a spur cycle from somewhere. A spur cycle? Spur bell? I don't know. But it fits up there. I'm not too much of a fan of this one because I don't know whether I've just fitted it wrong, but it keeps kind of pulling out a little bit. But anyway, I do use it from time to time. Stem is a Zip SL Sprint. That is in I think a 120 or 130 millimeter version. Stiffens up the front end for my massive arms. No, it does nothing. It just weighs a lot and looks cool. Then the Zip SL88 bar, that's the Service Course Edition. Aluminium bar, I really like it just because of this. It's got a really long reach, it's got a relatively deep drop, but the flat portion there is where I spend a lot of my winter battling my way through a headwind or something. It's just a very nice place to rest your hands for a long time. Wheels are the Roval Alpinist CLX first edition, so they are clincher only. These are the ones that Sagan, I think, exploded some tyres off and then they made them clincher only. Personally, I don't really care. They seem to take clincher tyres really, really well. I quite like running clinchers in the winter. I know that's a bit of a weird position to be in, but personally, I know that I can change a clincher tyre because they're generally a bit more supple, bit easier on the old thumbs. I know that I can change them even if I've forgotten my gloves and I've got frozen hands. Moving back towards the bike, those are the Shimano something pedals. They're the real base model, heavy, don't care. That's about it, isn't it? Is it about it? No, should we flip it around? Come on, flip around. Okay, I've flipped the bike round because I need to show you a couple of things on here. That's where it's scratched against the wall. I don't really care too much about this bike scratching. 105 calipers, they came in silver. That was all I could get them in, but I quite like them because when this bike has its mudguards fitted, which are the Kinesis fend off, brilliant mudguards. They match, and I quite like that. Plan is this winter to get the fend off mudguards and a rear rack on there. The brake line has been left a little bit long because generally I'm testing handlebars and you have to cut down the brake hoses sometimes, although these are externally routed, which is so much easier. This little piece in here, I had to cut into that to get the brake hose and the Di2 wire in on the same hole. Otherwise you had to route the Di2 wire in here, and I didn't like the look of that, so I just used a hacksaw. Yeah. The rotors are the original Dura Ace model, which were pretty terrible rotors and still are. Basically I'm wearing them down as quickly as possible because I want to fit something else. That's a 140. I really want to fit a 160 next, but I am waiting until they wear out and, you know, they warp a little bit, but I don't really care too much because it's the winter. Inside there I've got Swiss Stop RS34 pads. I'm pretty sure it's a model number. They were the only ones that were available when I was trying to get pads, because we all remember how hard it was to get brake pads through the pandemic. And then the bottom bracket, thankfully one of my friends has a nice facing kit and chased the threads and faced the bottom bracket shell for me, because I did go through one bottom bracket very quickly, and then we found the issues with Kinesis's paint job accuracy and found that a lot of paint was on the bottom bracket faces. What's coming for this bike? Well, this winter I do want to fit the mudguards back onto it and put a rear rack on, but that is pretty much it. It goes pretty much unchanged. It weighs some weight, it's not light at all. The wheels do help with it feeling quite reactive. They were one of the best kind of pieces that I fitted, but yes, generally this gets left well alone and it does all of the hard yards, and I absolutely love it. I love the position of it, and I just love it because it just, you know, it keeps me going through winter. I can grab it and go out riding in the dark, rain, hail, doesn't matter. It will keep going without fuss, and it doesn't make any noise. It's a brilliant bike, and if you think it's better than Jamie's SL7, you should definitely let him know. Speaking of which, you can go and check out all of our other staff bikes in the series. Dave has just done a lovely single speed, and you can also check out my S-Works Athos, which is significantly lighter than that. But anyway, if you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more, and we will see you in the next one.